Jake Morrison rubbed his tired eyes and stared at the glowing screen in front of him. The numbers made no sense. He had been working in the Lunar Research Station for 3 years now, and he had never seen equations like these before. The dark energy readings from the deep space sensors showed something impossible. Energy was moving in patterns that broke every rule he knew about physics. The research station floated quietly above the moon's gray surface. Jake could see Earth through the small window next to his desk. The blue planet looked peaceful from here, but Jake felt anything but peaceful. His hands shook slightly as he typed new calculations into his computer. Each result made him more confused and excited at the same time. Lisa Parker walked into the lab carrying 2 cups of coffee. She was Jake's closest friend on the station, and the only person who understood his work. Lisa had short brown hair and wore the same white lab coat that all the scientists used. She set 1 cup down next to Jake's keyboard and looked at his screen. "Still working on those weird energy readings?" she asked. "Jake, you have been at this for 4 days straight. Maybe the sensors are broken." Jake shook his head and pointed at the screen. "Look at this, Lisa. The dark energy is not just moving. Randomly, it is responding to something. Every time I focus really hard on the numbers, they change. When I stop thinking about them, they go back to normal." Lisa laughed and sat down in the chair next to him. "Come on, Jake, you are saying that your thoughts are changing the energy readings in deep space. That is crazy talk. You need some sleep." But Jake was not listening. He was staring at his coffee cup. As he watched, the cup started to move very slowly across the desk. Neither he nor Lisa had touched it. The cup stopped moving when Jake looked away from it. "Did you see that?" Jake whispered. Lisa looked at the cup and then at Jake. "See what?" "The cup is just sitting there." Jake focused his mind on the cup again. This time he really concentrated. He imagined the cup moving to the left. Slowly, very slowly, the cup began to slide across the smooth desk surface. Lisa's mouth fell open. "How are you doing that?" she asked in a quiet voice. "I do not know," Jake said. "But I think it has something to do with my research. Look at the energy readings now." The computer screen showed the dark energy patterns, going wild. The numbers jumped up and down like a heart monitor during a heart attack. Every time Jake focused on moving the cup, the energy readings spiked. When he stopped, everything went back to normal. Lisa stood up quickly and backed away from the desk. "Jake, this is not possible. Objects do not move by themselves. Thoughts cannot change energy in space. There has to be a normal explanation." Jake picked up his notebook and started writing down everything he had observed. What if consciousness is not just something that happens in our brains? What if it is a real force, like gravity or electricity? What if our minds can actually touch the world around us? "That is science fiction, Jake, not science." But even as Lisa said this, she watched the pen in Jake's hand. It was writing by itself. Jake was holding it, but his hand was not moving. The pen wrote words on the paper without any physical motion from Jake. The words said, "Consciousness equals energy equals matter." Jake dropped the pen and stared at Lisa. "I think I just discovered something that will change everything we know about the universe." Over the next few hours, Jake ran test after test. He could move small objects just by thinking about them. He could make lights turn on and off without touching any switches. He could even make his computer run faster just by concentrating on it. Every time he used this strange new ability, the deep space energy sensors detected massive changes in dark energy patterns. Lisa helped him document everything, even though she was scared. She took videos of objects moving by themselves. She recorded the energy readings. She wrote down every detail of what happened and when it happened. "Jake, if this is real, and I am starting to think it might be, then we have to be very careful," Lisa said. "If consciousness can affect matter and energy, then this discovery could be dangerous. What if other people learn how to do this? What if governments try to use it as a weapon?" Jake nodded, but he was too excited to be worried. "Think about all the good we could do, Lisa. We could solve energy problems. We could heal people. We could explore space in ways we never imagined." As the night went on, Jake's abilities seemed to get stronger. He could now move larger objects and affect more complex systems. The coffee maker in the corner started brewing fresh coffee without anyone pressing any buttons. The lights in the lab dimmed and brightened in rhythm with Jake's heartbeat, but far away from the Lunar Research Station, in a part of space that humans had never seen, ancient machines detected the energy disturbances. These machines had been watching and waiting for millions of years. They had been built by beings much older and more powerful than humans. Their purpose was simple: to find any species that discovered the connection between consciousness and the fundamental forces of the universe. The machines sent a signal across the galaxy. The message was short and urgent. Code read: consciousness manipulation detected. Species: human. Location: Sol system. Threat level: maximum. Roy Stevens was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started blaring throughout the Earth Defense Force headquarters. The sound meant only one thing: something big was happening in space. Roy put down his cup and ran to the command center. As the head of Earth's space defense, he had seen many strange things, but nothing had prepared him for what was about to happen. The main screen showed a massive object approaching Earth's solar system. It was not like any spaceship humans had ever built. The thing was huge, maybe 10 times bigger than the largest space station. It looked like it was made of crystal and metal twisted together in impossible shapes. The object moved without any visible engines or exhaust. "Sir, we are getting a communication from that thing," said Lieutenant Amy Walsh, who was working at the communications station. "It is not using any radio frequency we know about. The signal is going directly into our computers somehow." Roy walked over to Amy's station, put it on the main screen. The screen flickered and then showed something that made everyone in the room step backward. It was clearly not human, but it was beautiful in a scary way. The being looked like it was made of living crystal. Light moved through its body in patterns that hurt to look at directly. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music and thunder at the same time. "I am Ambassador Zethkari of the Galactic Council. I come with an urgent message for the species you call humans. You have discovered something that threatens the stability of the entire universe. This discovery must be stopped immediately." Roy took a deep breath and stepped forward. "This is Commander Roy Stevens of the Earth Defense Force. We do not know what you are talking about." "What discovery?" The crystal being's light patterns changed, becoming faster and more intense. "Your scientist Jake Morrison has learned to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality through consciousness alone. This ability has appeared only 3 times in galactic history. Each time it led to the destruction of entire star systems, and the death of billions of beings. You are talking about one man doing research on a moon base. How could that threaten anyone?" Zethkari's form seemed to grow larger on the screen. "You do not understand the power your species has stumbled upon. Consciousness is not separate from the physical universe. It is part of the basic structure of reality itself. When a being learns to control this connection, they can rewrite the laws of physics. They can make stars explode with a thought. They can move planets like toys. They can tear holes in space and time." Roy felt cold sweat running down his back. "If this is so dangerous, why not just teach us how to control it safely?" "Because it cannot be controlled," the alien said. "The power grows stronger with use. It spreads from person to person like a disease. Eventually, those who have it become drunk with power. They begin to see themselves as gods. They reshape reality to match their desires. But reality is not meant to be changed so carelessly. The universe has rules for a reason." Amy looked up from her console. "Sir, I am getting reports from around the world. People are saying they can move objects with their minds. Videos are showing up on the internet of impossible things happening. A man in Tokyo made his car fly. A woman in London stopped a falling building just by thinking about it." Roy stared at Amy in shock. "How many people?" "The reports are coming from dozens of cities, sir. The number is growing every hour." Zethkari's voice became even more serious. "It has already begun to spread. This is exactly what we feared. Your species discovered Dr. Morrison's research through your communication networks. Now others are learning to access the same power. Within days, thousands of humans will have this ability. Within weeks, millions." "What do you want us to do?" Roy asked. "You must surrender Dr. Morrison and all humans who have manifested these abilities. They will be relocated to a secure facility where they cannot cause harm. Your species' research into consciousness manipulation must be banned forever. All records of this discovery must be destroyed." Roy felt anger rising in his chest. "You want us to hand over our own people to aliens we just met? That is not going to happen." The crystal being's light turned red. "Then you are choosing to doom not only your own species, but every living thing in the galaxy. The Galactic Council has dealt with this threat before. We know what must be done to protect the universe. Are you threatening us? I am warning you. If humanity will not police itself, the Council will do it for you. We have weapons that can destroy your entire solar system in minutes. We do not want to use them, but we will if we must." The communication ended abruptly. The alien ship disappeared from their sensors as if it had never been there. Roy stood in the silent command center trying to process what had just happened. Humanity had just learned they were not alone in the universe, and their new neighbors wanted to either imprison their people or destroy their world. Amy's console started beeping again. Sir, I am getting a call from President Hayes. He wants to speak with you immediately. Roy picked up the secure phone. Mr. President Roy, I just got briefed on what happened. Is it true that we made contact with aliens? Yes, sir, and they are not friendly. They want us to hand over our citizens and stop all research into something they call consciousness manipulation. What are you recommending, Commander? Roy looked around the command center at all the worried faces of his team. These people had dedicated their lives to protecting Earth. Now they faced a threat bigger than anything they had ever imagined. Mr. President, I recommend we prepare for war. We cannot trust beings who make first contact with threats and demands. If these abilities are real, and it looks like they are, then maybe they are exactly what we need to defend ourselves. I agree, Commander. Start preparing our defenses, and get me everything you can find about this Jake Morrison and his research. If we are going to fight aliens with the power of human consciousness, we better learn how to use it fast. Katie Wells had been a news reporter for 8 years, but she had never covered a story like this one. Strange videos were appearing all over the internet showing people doing impossible things. A man in Chicago had lifted a city bus over his head without touching it. A woman in Paris had walked through a brick wall like it was made of air. A teenager in Brazil had made it rain in his backyard during a drought. Katie sat in her small apartment, watching video after video on her laptop. Most news stations were calling them fake, but Katie had a feeling they were real. She had learned to trust her instincts during her years as a reporter. And her instincts told her that something amazing and terrifying was happening to humanity. It was her editor at Channel 7 News. Katie, I need you to investigate these weird videos everyone is talking about. Find out if they are real or just computer tricks. People are starting to panic. Katie grabbed her camera and drove to the address mentioned in one of the most popular videos. It showed a man named Danny Clark, a Marine sergeant, making objects float around his living room. The video had been posted just that morning and already had millions of views. She found Danny's house, in a quiet neighborhood outside the city. When she knocked on the door, a tall man with short black hair answered. He looked nervous and tired. Are you Danny Clark? Katie asked. Yeah, but I am not talking to any more reporters. I already told the others. I do not know how I am doing this stuff. Katie showed him her press badge. I am Katie Wells from Channel 7. I just want to understand what is happening. Can you really move things with your mind? Danny looked around to make sure no one was watching, then invited her inside. The living room looked normal except for a coffee table that was floating 3 feet off the ground. It started 2 days ago, Danny said. I was reading this research paper online about consciousness and physics. The guy who wrote it, some scientist named Jake Morrison, said that thoughts could affect the real world. I thought it was crazy, but then I tried it. Katie stared at the floating table. How does it feel when you do it? Like flexing a muscle. I never knew I had watched this. Danny looked at a lamp on the other side of the room. The lamp slowly rose into the air and moved toward them. At first I could only move small things, like pens and cups. Now I can lift furniture. Yesterday, I stopped a car that was about to hit a kid. I just put my hand out and the car stopped like it hit a wall. Are you scared? Katie asked, terrified. What if I lose control? What if I hurt someone by accident? And there are rumors that the government wants to lock up people like me. Katie spent the next 3 hours interviewing Danny and filming him demonstrate his abilities. She also called other people who had posted similar videos. A woman named Helen Davis, who worked as an astronaut, told her that she had survived a space walk without her helmet by somehow creating an air bubble around her head. She said NASA was keeping it quiet, but they were studying her blood and brain scans to figure out what had happened. A construction worker named Pete Johnson said he could now see through walls and hear conversations from miles away. A teacher, named Carol White, claimed she could heal cuts and bruises just by touching them. All of them had one thing in common. They had all read Jake Morrison's research paper and tried to replicate his experiments. Katie drove back to the news station. With her head spinning, she had enough evidence to prove that something incredible was happening to humans all over the world. But as she edited her report, she got a call that changed everything. Katie, this is Agent Frank Miller from the Department of Homeland Security. We need to talk. 20 minutes later, Katie was sitting in a black SUV with 2 men in dark suits. Agent Miller was older, with gray hair and serious eyes. His partner, Agent Tom Baker, looked younger but just as intense. Ms. Wells, we know you have been investigating the anomalous events that have been occurring nationwide. We need you to stop. Why? Katie asked. People have a right to know what is happening. Agent Miller opened a tablet and showed her satellite images. These photos were taken this morning. This is what happened when a man in Nevada tried to use his new abilities to help with a forest fire. The images showed a massive crater where a forest used to be. The crater was perfectly round and almost a mile wide. He was trying to put out the fire by moving all the burning trees at once, Agent Baker explained. Instead, he accidentally created a localized black hole that sucked up everything in the area, including himself. Katie felt sick. How many people died? Fortunately, the area was mostly empty. But this is just the beginning. We have reports of reality distortions appearing around people with these abilities. In Texas, a woman trying to heal her sick dog accidentally aged it 50 years in 5 seconds. In Maine, a man attempted to create food out of thin air and instead turned his entire kitchen into a mass of toxic sludge. Agent Miller leaned forward. The abilities are spreading faster than we can track them. Every day, more people read more, research and develop these powers. Most of them cannot control what they are doing. We are dealing with ordinary people who suddenly have the power to reshape reality, and they have no training or understanding of the consequences. What are you going to do? Katie asked. We are working with other governments to contain the situation. Anyone who manifests these abilities is being brought to secure facilities, where they can be studied and hopefully taught control. But we need the media to stop spreading awareness of these powers. Every news report, every viral video, leads to more people trying to replicate the experiments. Katie shook her head. You cannot hide something this big forever. People have a right to know. Agent Baker's phone rang. He answered it and his face went pale. Sir, we have a problem. There are reports of alien ships appearing in Earth's solar system. The Pentagon is calling an emergency meeting. Agent Miller cursed under his breath. The Galactic Council, they said they would give us time to handle this ourselves. The Galactic Council, Katie repeated. You knew about aliens. Ms. Wells, what I am about to tell you is classified at the highest level. 3 days ago, we were contacted by an alien government called the Galactic Council. They warned us that humanity's discovery of consciousness-based reality manipulation poses a threat to the entire universe. They gave us a deadline to surrender all humans with these abilities or face the consequences. Katie stared at the two agents. What consequences? Complete annihilation of the human species. The SUV pulled up to the news station. Agent Miller handed Katie a card with a phone number. If you want to help save humanity, call this number. We are going to need all the help we can get. But if you broadcast this story, you might be signing the death warrant for every person on Earth. Katie got out of the SUV and watched it drive away. She looked at the card in her hand, then at the news station building where her colleagues were working on normal stories about politics and sports. None of them knew that humanity was about to face its greatest challenge ever. She had a choice to make: report the biggest story in human history, or help keep it secret to protect her species. Above her, she could see strange lights in the sky that had not been there yesterday. The alien fleet was coming, and time was running out. Alex Turner had been flying spacecraft for 15 years, but he had never seen anything like the alien fleet that now surrounded Earth's solar system. From the bridge of the SS Freedom, he counted at least 50 massive ships. Each one was bigger than anything humans had ever built. They hung in space like sleeping giants, waiting for the order to attack. Captain Turner, this is Admiral Brooks from Earth Command. What is your status? Alex picked up the radio. Admiral, we have visual contact with the alien fleet. They have positioned themselves between Earth and Mars. It looks like they are waiting for something. They are waiting for our answer. Captain, the Galactic Council has given us 6 hours to surrender Dr. Morrison and all humans with consciousness abilities. President Hayes has decided we will not comply. Alex felt his stomach tighten. He commanded a crew of 40 people, and they were about to fight aliens with technology far beyond anything humans possessed. Admiral, our weapons are not designed for this kind of battle. These ships are enormous. Captain, you have some special crew members aboard. Use them. Alex looked around. The bridge and his crew. 3 of them were people who had developed the new abilities. Sarah Kim, his navigation officer, could now sense objects in space without using instruments. Bobby Martinez, the weapons officer, had learned to make their energy weapons fire with impossible accuracy. Jenny Brooks, the engineer, could somehow make their engines run at twice their normal efficiency. All ships, this is Admiral Brooks. The deadline has expired. The aliens are moving to attack positions. All crews with enhanced personnel, you are authorized to use any means necessary to defend Earth. Alex watched the main screen as the alien ships began to move. They accelerated without any visible engines, moving faster than anything should be able to move in space. The first alien ship fired a beam of purple energy at the S. Washington, one of the larger Earth ships. "Evasive maneuvers," Alex shouted. But Sarah Kim was already ahead of him. She had closed her eyes and was somehow guiding their ship away from the alien weapons. The Freedom moved like a dancer, spinning and diving through space in ways that should have been impossible. The alien beam missed them by inches. "Bobby, return fire." Bobby Martinez focused all his attention on the targeting system. As he concentrated, the ship's weapons began to glow brighter than they ever had before. When he fired, the energy beam moved in a perfect straight line toward the alien ship. It hit the crystal hull and actually created a crack in the surface. "We hurt them," Bobby shouted. "Whatever this consciousness stuff is, it works. All around." Then the space battle was becoming something that defied every rule of physics. Human ships were moving faster than light without using their faster-than-light drives. Energy weapons were hitting targets that should have been impossible to reach. Shields were protecting ships from attacks that should have destroyed them. Instantly, the alien commander, Admiral Vorthok, watched the battle from his flagship with growing alarm. His ships were fighting humans who should have been no match for Galactic Council technology, but somehow the humans were holding their own. Human pilots were doing things that violated the fundamental laws of space combat. "Admiral, the human ships are moving in patterns we cannot predict," reported his tactical officer. "Their weapons are firing with energy levels that exceed their ship specifications. Some of their vessels are surviving direct hits from our primary weapons." Vorthok studied the battle displays. He had fought wars across the galaxy for 300 years, but he had never seen anything like this. "They are using consciousness manipulation in real time during combat. This is exactly what the Council feared would happen." On the Freedom, Alex watched as Jenny Brooks somehow made their damaged engines repair themselves. She had her hands on the control panel, and he could see the stress indicators dropping back to normal levels. "Jenny, how are you doing that?" "I am not sure, Captain. I just think about how the engines should work, and they start working that way." The battle continued for 2 hours. Human ships that should have been destroyed kept fighting. Alien weapons that should have been unstoppable were being deflected or absorbed. But the aliens had one advantage: numbers. For every alien ship the humans damaged, there were 5 more to take its place. "Captain, we are getting a transmission from the alien flagship," Sarah reported. The main screen showed Admiral Vorthok. He was a tall, thin being with blue skin and 4 arms. His voice was deep and filled with authority. "Human Commander, you have fought better than we expected. Your species' ability to manipulate reality through consciousness has made you formidable opponents. But this battle cannot continue. We will now use our most powerful weapon." Alex felt cold fear in his chest. "What weapon?" "We will collapse your sun. In 15 minutes, your star will become a black hole. Your planet and all life on it will be destroyed. This is the only way to prevent your species from spreading this dangerous ability to other worlds." The transmission ended. Alex looked at his crew, seeing the same terror in their eyes that he felt in his heart. They had fought bravely, but now the aliens were threatening to destroy the entire solar system. "Captain, I am getting a transmission from Dr. Morrison on the Lunar Research Station," Sarah said. Jake Morrison appeared on the screen. He looked tired but determined. "Captain Turner, I've been working on something that might save us. I think I can use consciousness manipulation to stop them from collapsing the sun. But I need time, and I need help from every human with abilities." "What do you need us to do?" "Doctor, I need you to keep fighting and buy me 30 minutes. I am coordinating with enhanced humans all over Earth and on other ships. We are going to try something that has never been attempted before. We are going to use collective human consciousness to protect our solar system." Alex looked at his crew. They had already done the impossible by surviving this long against superior alien technology. Now they were being asked to do even more. "Yep," heard the doctor. "All ships, keep fighting. We need to give Earth 30 more minutes." The battle intensified as human ships pressed their attacks with desperate courage. Sarah Kim pushed her consciousness abilities to their limit, guiding not just their own ship but helping coordinate the movements of the entire human fleet. Bobby Martinez fired weapons that burned brighter and hit harder than ever before. Jenny Brooks kept not just their engines running, but began affecting the engines of nearby ships, making the entire human fleet faster and more maneuverable. As the minutes ticked by, Alex could see strange lights beginning to appear around the sun. Whatever Jake Morrison was doing, It was causing visible effects across the solar system. Space itself seemed to be bending and shifting in ways that hurt to look at. 10 more minutes, Alex said into the radio. Hold the line for 10 more minutes, but he was not sure they could do it. The alien ships were pressing closer, and their weapons were getting more powerful. The Freedom shook as an alien beam hit their port side. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. Then Sarah Kim said something that gave Alex hope. Captain, I can sense something changing. The aliens are scared. Whatever Dr. Morrison is doing, it is working. Jake Morrison stood in the center of the Lunar Research Station's main lab, surrounded by screens showing data from across the galaxy. The numbers were terrifying. The alien fleet was preparing to collapse Earth's sun, and humanity had less than 10 minutes before their solar system became a black hole. But Jake had discovered something that might save them all. Nancy Brooks, the station's chief physicist, was working frantically at her console. She had developed consciousness abilities 3 days ago and was now helping Jake coordinate the most ambitious experiment in human history. Jake, I am reading energy patterns from every major city on Earth, Nancy said. People with abilities are linking up just like you planned. But I am also seeing something else. The dark energy expansion that has been threatening the universe for millions of years is accelerating. Jake nodded grimly. That is our opportunity, Nancy. The Galactic Council is so focused on stopping us that they have ignored the real threat to the universe. If we can solve the dark energy problem, we can prove that consciousness manipulation is not just destructive, it can be used to save everything. Lisa Parker ran into the lab carrying a tablet full of readings. Jake, I am getting reports from observatories around the world. The universal expansion rate has increased by 15% in the last hour. At this rate, galaxies will start tearing apart within decades instead of millennia. The space battle is causing it, Jake realized. All the consciousness manipulation happening during the fight is affecting the fundamental structure of reality. We are accidentally making the dark energy problem worse. Through the lab's main window, Jake could see the alien fleet surrounding Earth. Their ships glowed with energy as they prepared to destroy humanity's home. But Jake also saw something else. The space between stars was shimmering, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Reality itself was becoming unstable. Nancy, open a communication channel to Admiral Vorthok. If we are going to save the universe, we need the aliens to understand what is really happening. The main screen flickered and showed the blue alien commander. His 4 arms were moving quickly across control panels as he prepared his ultimate weapon. Admiral Vorthok, this is Dr. Jake Morrison. I know you can hear me. You need to stop your attack on our sun immediately. The alien looked surprised to receive a direct communication from the human who had started this crisis. Dr. Morrison, you are responsible for unleashing a power that threatens all life in the galaxy. In 5 minutes, your solar system will be destroyed to prevent further contamination. Admiral, look at your sensors. Check the universal expansion rate. Your battle with us is making the dark energy problem worse. If you destroy our solar system now, the energy release will tear apart nearby star systems. The cure will be worse than the disease. Vorthok's expression changed as he consulted his instruments. How do you know about the dark energy crisis? That information is classified at the highest levels of the Galactic Council. Jake smiled despite the desperate situation. Because human consciousness can sense it directly. We do not just manipulate reality, Admiral, we can feel the universe's pain. Earth's astronomers have been detecting dark energy for decades, but we thought it was a distant problem. We were wrong. It is happening now. On the screen, Vorthok was conferring with his officers in a language that sounded like musical chimes. After a moment, he turned back to Jake. Our sensors confirm your claim. The universal expansion is accelerating beyond safe parameters. But this only proves that consciousness manipulation is too dangerous to allow. We must destroy your species before you make the situation worse. What if we could make it better? Jake asked. What if humans could use consciousness manipulation to stabilize the universe instead of destroying it? Impossible. 3 previous species attempted to control this power for constructive purposes. All failed catastrophically. Nancy looked up from her console. Jake, I am getting readings from the enhanced humans on Earth. They are all focused and ready. But we only have 3 minutes before the aliens fire their weapon. Jake made the biggest gamble in human history. Admiral Vorthok, give us 30 minutes. Let us prove that human consciousness can solve the dark energy crisis. If we fail, you can destroy us. If we succeed, humanity will dedicate itself to stabilizing the universe. The alien commander was silent for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. You have 15 minutes, Dr. Morrison. But if your attempt fails or makes the situation worse, we will not just destroy your solar system, we will sterilize every planet that humans have ever visited. The communication ended. Jake turned to Nancy and Lisa. 15 minutes to save the universe. Are you ready? Nancy activated the global communication network that connected enhanced humans all over Earth and in space. All stations. This is Lunar Base. Operation Universe Stabilization is now active. Focus your consciousness on the coordinates Dr. Morrison is transmitting. Jake closed his eyes and felt his mind expanding beyond the boundaries of his body. He could sense Nancy and Lisa beside him, their consciousness joining with his. Then, he felt the minds of enhanced humans from around the world, linking up. Sarah Kim from the space battle, Danny Clark from his home in Ohio, Helen Davis from the International Space Station, thousands of others, all focusing their newfound abilities on a single purpose. I can feel them all, Lisa whispered. It is like we are becoming one giant mind. Jake pushed his consciousness further out, beyond Earth, beyond the solar system, reaching toward the dark energy that was tearing the universe apart. He had never attempted anything this ambitious before. He was trying to affect cosmic forces that operated on scales larger than galaxies. Nancy, what are the readings showing? Jake, the dark energy patterns are responding. I cannot believe what I am seeing. The expansion rate is slowing down. But Jake could feel the strain. Thousands of human minds working together were barely able to touch something as vast as universal dark energy. They needed more power, more focus, more people. Lisa, activate the emergency broadcast system. Tell every human on Earth what we are trying to do. Ask them to help us, even if they do not have abilities yet. Within minutes, emergency broadcasts were going out in every language on Earth. Television stations, radio networks, and internet services all carried the same message. Humanity was attempting to save the universe from destruction, and they needed every person on the planet to focus their mind on stopping the cosmic expansion. 8 billion humans began to concentrate on the same goal at the same time. Parents holding their children, workers stopping their jobs, soldiers pausing their battles. All of humanity joined their consciousness together for the first time in history. Jake felt the power surge through the collective human mind. It was like connecting to an infinite source of energy. The dark energy patterns that had been tearing the universe apart for millions of years suddenly stopped expanding. Admiral Vorthok, Jake said, opening the communication channel again. Check your sensors now. The alien commander looked at his instruments and his forearms froze in shock. This is impossible. The universal expansion has not just slowed, it has completely stopped in a region extending for thousands of light years around your solar system. This is what human consciousness can do when we work together, Jake said. We do not just manipulate reality for destruction, we can heal the universe itself. The day that would forever change the relationship between humanity and the universe began with Jake Morrison standing before the largest gathering of human consciousness in history. Every person on Earth was participating in the most ambitious experiment ever attempted. They were going to try to heal the universe itself. Jake stood in the lunar research station, but his consciousness was connected to 8 billion human minds. He could feel every person on Earth, from babies in their mother's arms to elderly people in nursing homes. All of them were focused on the same impossible goal, stopping the dark energy that had been tearing apart the cosmos for millions of years. Nancy Brooks monitored the cosmic sensors while Lisa Parker coordinated with enhanced humans around the world. The alien fleet still surrounded Earth's solar system, but Admiral Vorthok had agreed to wait and see what humanity could accomplish. Jake, we are reading stable connections with 97% of Earth's population, Nancy reported. The consciousness network is stronger than we ever imagined possible. Jake felt the collective power of human will flowing through him like electricity. But this was not just about Earth anymore. The stabilization effect they had created was spreading outward at the speed of light, creating bubbles of stable space where dark energy could not tear matter apart. All enhanced individuals. This is Dr. Morrison. Jake spoke into the global communication network. We are going to attempt the final phase now. Focus everything you have on the coordinates I am sending you. Around the world, humans with consciousness abilities pushed their powers to the absolute limit. Danny Clark in Ohio felt his mind expanding beyond his neighborhood, beyond his city, reaching out to touch the fabric of space itself. Helen Davis on the International Space Station used her abilities to create a protective field around Earth that extended all the way to Mars. Sarah Kim, still fighting in the space battle, guided the collective human consciousness toward the source of the dark Energy crisis. Jake reached out with his mind further than he had ever attempted before. He pushed his consciousness beyond the solar system, beyond the local star cluster, toward the center of the galaxy where the dark energy was strongest. What he found there shocked him. "Nancy, I can see the source," Jake said in amazement. "The dark energy is not a natural force. It is artificial. Something created it millions of years ago." "What do you mean?" Nancy asked. "There is a machine at the center of the galaxy. It has been pumping dark energy into the universe for so long that everyone forgot it was not supposed to be there. The expansion is not natural. Someone built a device to tear the universe apart." Admiral Vorthak's voice came over the communication system. "Dr. Morrison, our most ancient records speak of the Dark Builders, a species that existed before the Galactic Council was formed. They were destroyed in a war billions of years ago, but their machines continued to operate. We thought the dark energy expansion was an unavoidable consequence of universal aging." Jake smiled as he felt the collective power of human consciousness, focusing on the ancient machine. "Admiral, you were wrong. And now we are going to fix what the Dark Builders broke." The moment had arrived. Jake guided the consciousness of 8 billion humans toward the machine at the galactic center. He could feel the device, massive beyond comprehension, still following programming from a species that had been extinct for eons. The machine was designed to gradually tear apart the universe, but its creators had died before they could see their plan completed. "Everyone on Earth, focus now," Jake commanded. "Think about turning off the machine. Imagine the universe healing itself. Believe that we can fix this." What happened next defied every law of physics that had ever been discovered. 8 billion human minds, connected through the mysterious force of consciousness, reached across 26,000 light-years of space and touched the Dark Builder machine. They did not use technology or weapons. They used pure will, focused thought, and the unshakable human belief that any problem could be solved. The machine, which had operated without interruption for billions of years, suddenly stopped. Nancy stared at her instruments in disbelief. "Jake, the dark energy production has ceased completely. The universal expansion is not just slowing down. It is reversing in some regions. All stations." "This is Admiral Vorthok," came the alien commander's voice, filled with awe. "Galactic sensors are detecting the impossible. The dark energy crisis that has threatened the universe for millions of years has been resolved. The expansion rate is now stable across all sectors." Jake felt tears of joy running down his face. Humanity had not just saved itself from alien destruction, they had saved the entire universe from a cosmic disaster that had been building for eons. "Admiral Vorthok, this is what human consciousness can accomplish when we work together. We do not seek to destroy or conquer. We want to heal and protect." The alien fleet began to change formation. Instead of surrounding Earth with weapons, ready, the ships moved into ceremonial patterns that indicated respect and welcome. "Dr. Morrison, I am Ambassador Zethkari," came a familiar crystalline voice. "The Galactic Council formally apologizes for our hostile approach. We have spent so long fearing consciousness manipulation that we forgot it could be used for creation instead of destruction." "What happens now?" Jake asked. "Now, humanity is invited to join the Galactic Council as its 13th member. But not as a junior partner. You will have the special role of universal stabilizers. Your species will work with our scientists to monitor cosmic stability and prevent future crises." Over the following months, Earth became the center of interstellar cooperation. Human consciousness researchers worked alongside alien scientists to better understand the power that humanity had discovered. The Lunar Research Station was expanded into a massive facility where beings from across the galaxy came to study the connection between mind and matter. Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of humanity's first interstellar embassy, watching alien ships dock peacefully alongside human vessels. Children from Earth played with young beings from dozens of different worlds. Scientists shared knowledge that would benefit every species in the galaxy. "Hard to believe it all started with some strange readings from deep space sensors," Lisa Parker said, joining Jake at the observation window. Jake nodded. "The universe gave us a test, Lisa. It wanted to see if we would use our power responsibly. I think we passed." Nancy Brooks approached them carrying a data tablet. "Jake, we just received a transmission from the Andromeda Galaxy. They have detected dark energy machines there too. The Council wants to know if humanity would be willing to help stabilize other galaxies." Jake looked out at the stars, feeling the consciousness of every human on Earth and beyond. He could sense human colonists on Mars learning to use their abilities to terraform the planet. He felt human explorers traveling to distant worlds, using consciousness manipulation to adapt to alien environments and communicate with species that had never met humans before. Tell them yes, Jake said. Humanity is ready to help heal the universe, one galaxy at a time. The Human Physics Corps was established with headquarters on Luna. Enhanced humans from around the world trained there, learning to use their consciousness, abilities for exploration, diplomacy, and cosmic maintenance. They worked alongside alien specialists, combining human intuition with galactic knowledge to solve problems that had existed since the dawn of civilization. Earth became known throughout the galaxy as the planet of infinite possibility, where beings came to learn that the laws of physics were not chains that bound reality, but tools that could be used to build something better. Children who grew up in this new age learned to see the universe not as a cold, empty place, but as a living system that responded to consciousness, hope, and the unshakable human belief that any problem could be solved if enough people worked together. Jake Morrison, the scientist who had accidentally discovered humanity's greatest power, became the first human ambassador to the Galactic Council. But he never forgot the lesson that had started it all. Consciousness was not separate from the universe. It was the universe's way of understanding itself, and humanity had proven that understanding could lead to healing on a cosmic scale.